Oh, you wanna watch wrestling? Is what you want to do? You're trying to kick us out.
I feel that the bullshit is better and more organic when we've had some time apart to be like, hey,
really?
Yeah, rather than hey, we just talked for 2 hours. You want to bullshit some more?
I'm serious. Like, you just want to watch wrestling?
It's on WWE Network. It's on demand.
It's on demand.
Yeah,
so you can watch it whenever.
Yeah.
So earlier, when you were telling your wife that wrestling is on, it didn't really matter.
See, what you're doing
right here
to
get rid of me?
is you're manufacturing bullshit at this point to try and get so we don't have to do it midweek.
Well, I don't know. It scares me.
Good.
Midweek bullshit scares me.
Midweek
I have
bullshit.
a very regulated shit. It's usually like about 10 minutes after I get to work. That way the company pays for it.
Ugh.
You don't do that?
I'm going to start off by talking about poop? No.
All right. So, Dan, mob rules.
Dave helps us talk about Lost Patrol. We're going to go super mellow.
Oh, okay.
Super mellow.
It's kind of like a pouring one out for our homies, for all our dead scouts.
Yeah. It's a very hard game.
We talk more about scouts.
And eBay Price is Right is back by popular demand.
Oh, right. Okay.
By popular demand.
It's episode
28 of Mob Rules. Aww.
If you jiggle it 3 times, you're playing with it.
You could go easily blind.
That's right. Welcome to Mob Rules, episode 28. How you doing, Ted?
You asked me that just as I'm drinking some water.
That's why I did it. Mob Rules, of course, your number one. If we as a podcast were a game, I feel we would be a box game of stuff bundled together to get rid of it cheap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The podcast that forgot it does stuff at the start again.
Definitely not Lost Patrol.
Definitely not.
Lost
I, of course, am John, joined as always by water drinking Ted.
Multiple Teds.
Multiple Teds. And other Ted. And also today we are joined by
Andy.
Yeah, Andy. How you doing, Andy?
It's good to have you back.
Yeah.
2 podcasts in a row.
No, good to be back.
Use the accent. We told you.
Right. It's good to be back as a gentleman farmer.
No, we're joined by Dave. He's not been here before, but we're happy to have him. Today we're going to be talking about scouts, like Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. Nothing to do with Warhammer. Mainly about programs for young men.
They start off as an embryo.
Oh no, that's just making the concept ridiculous. You have Cub Scouts, Beaver Scouts.
Yeah, see,
yeah,
but they gotta come from somewhere, right?
Yeah,
like a tadpole, or
I think it's called
a whelp.
semen.
Okay. Well, Dave was talking about it a lot earlier. Saying hi from underneath Dad's balls or something.
It's not like you were looking out from your dad's balls, all right? Okay. You don't remember the changes that have happened from 77, from 75. You don't know what the city looked like.
No.
75.
Yeah.
So hanging out there for a while. So by the time that sperm got to action, it was probably a little chrysalis.
Yeah. That explains a lot of things about you,
actually.
A
year and a half worth of
it's an old, musty sperm.
A Reddit shoebox. So, Dave, I guess, as the newest member at the table here, what have you been up to the past couple
What's your
weeks?
Genesis?
Yeah, what's your
Genesis? Who are you?
Yeah.
Why did you come to our podcast?
Why should people care?
All right, well...
Pretend we didn't ask you to.
In 86...
Wait a second. I got something for this.
Way back in 1986, you will find that I picked up my first white dwarf, followed by a package of squats. Now, I immediately threw those away because squats are stupid.
He now wishes he had kept it to sell on eBay in 2016.
Had I known that, what I known then, what I know now, I would have kept a lot more stuff from back then.
Their padded little armor.
No, I started playing in '86 with Ted's good friend's older brother. We started with Adeptus Titanus.
His good friend, older brother. So first name older, last name brother.
Exactly.
Okay. He was a good friend.
He was a good friend. Got into Titanicus and Epic 40K. Followed by Fantasy, which if you listen to the last podcast, I had an undead army that they just shit upon, and I went, fuck this, I'm playing 40k now. And I played 40K until about 98.
He was hitting on Warhammer Fantasy before it was cool with Age of Sigmar and stuff.
Hey, girl.
Way back in the day. At 98, I stopped playing for a while. I got back in about 2001 for about a couple years. Met a couple people, and then I stopped playing again. And I got back.
You're just like a habitual quitter, aren't you?
I am. I give up the game. Well, I kind of run into real life other stuff and just kind of stop.
Like prison.
The last army I had, I lent to my next door neighbor who got a divorce and moved away and boxed it up in Kenai, and now he's a long haul trucker in the lower 48. I'll never see it again. So I started.
Do you know which house it is?
I don't. No, they can't. I mean, just go walk down there and start knocking
not?
on doors. Anybody got a giant green Space Marine army around here? No? Okay, I'll check next door.
Next.
What's a Space Marine?
Okay, we're good here. So I got back in when my son, who turned 13, got into 40K, and I wanted to start helping him understand it. He did it of his own free will. I was like, oh, really? I thought you were smarter than that, but okay, nerd, let's do this. I guess if you don't ever want to meet girls, this is the way to go.
Because if you don't have money for drugs, you can't buy them.
Right? So I helped him do stuff, and I kind of got the itch to build and paint, which I really love doing. So I bought a couple boxes out at that local friendly store. Tier
Fred
1.
Meyer. Oh, okay.
Started putting stuff together.
All right.
And I've just been slowly building up. And then some idiot started talking about this Tale of Gamers thing. And so the next thing I know...
that guy.
Next thing I know, I'm running a Gamers Tale event, which is loosely the best event ever on the face of the planet. And that's what I've been up to, just painting some guys for that, building some stuff.
Sweet. So that's what you've been doing the last couple of weeks?
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing about the story there is it was shorter than the music. So when it stops it right there, it's like, oh wow, that's like a segment. Next, no.
Cut the commercials.
So I know we talked a little bit last time about what Ted and I have been doing for that Gamer's Tale. What have you been doing force-wise? Give us kind of a brief overview of your models.
All right. So for my theme on this one was.
Yeah, go ahead.
I went off a story in the short story book Deathwing, which I picked up simply to point out to your good buddy Phil.
Based off of BFG. Have you ever seen that movie?
Big Friendly Giant?
Yeah.
Big fucking goont. No, he was talking. We were discussing Deathwing and how Dark Angels used to be Native American in the old. That story.
Right. That blew his top. I don't think he didn't realize it that time.
You didn't?
No. A lot of people didn't. I think like we started having like a discussion about it, and a lot of people were like, no.
That's
They're
not
what were they saying? That they were
They're
monks
like,
or something
no.
like that.
Yeah,
I think I found some like old pictures from like the
Deathwing is totally based off of like American Indians.
Yeah, it was like this weird hodgepodge. It was like this weird hodgepodge mix where they
accidentally unplugged his microphone.
Right. Well, they mixed like Native Americans and then
no, it was basically Native Americans at that point in time for that story. When the guys return home in their Terminator armor and they find out the Gene Stealers have everything just wrecked, so they paint it all white and go.
I really want to see like a Deathwing dude standing beside a pile of like. A Thunderhawk flies by, and just this trash is ejected out the compactor, and a single Deathwing Terminator turns around, and a tear goes down the
So, I went out and picked that book up at one of our local used bookstores because I wanted to reread that story.
Okay.
In
Coco
that
Tidal
book,
Wave Books.
What's that?
Coco Tidal Wave Books, right?
I don't know what you're talking about. They haven't paid me anything, so well, my endorsement is either jiggle the balls or
Crank the shaft.
I've seen the people that work there, and I'd rather have cash. So the second story in the book is by Dan Abnett, and it is about a
writer of the Ultramarines movie.
Right, fantastic
movie.
writer. No, and it's about a.
He is a fantastic writer, by the way. I just want to
really his books are great, but so he goes. It's not an inquisitor, but a researcher, if you will, goes to a planet to talk to a retired major or colonel or something along those lines to figure out because there's a plague going on in X system right now and they can't handle it. They don't know what's going on, but it bears a striking resemblance to plague Y that happened before this guy cured. So they get there and it turns out it's a serious insane asylum. the guy's blinded himself. He's trying to talk to him.
Was he masturbating? I heard that's one way to do it.
That's one way of doing it.
Yeah,
It's
I've been working on it.
Blinding yourself.
I've actually done it to the point where I'm deaf, but I haven't.
Huh?
Yeah. What? Yes.
No, Ted, the mic's over here. Keep this way. So he gets there. He's interrogating the guy. The guy doesn't want to tell him about it because basically every time he talks about it, it brings the bad stuff closer. So it turns out that one of the Doom Eagles, an apothecary that was on this planet with the Imperial Guard, 20 Doom Eagles with an apothecary. The apothecary was infected with a Nurgle plague and was spreading it. And he figured it out by seeing the pus pockets on the guy's neck and kills him. And
could be a water blister, but
could have been except that the plague ended the moment the apothecary died. So
that's a pretty heavy bet. It's like you either have a perfectly normal scab or the entire world will be cured if I shoot you.
So
in the world of the 42nd first millennia,
well, he didn't.
It's always
wasn't a
best
commissar, so he wasn't trying to kill him immediately.
Friggin'
Anyway.
Obamacare lost into the 41st millennium. Boom. That's not really a good joke. Stay away from politics.
So my take on my army for this was I'm doing Chaos Space Marines. However, I'm doing Chaos Space Marines that literally don't think they're Chaos Space Marines because the apothecary in this particular story, which in the fluff that I wrote up, it took in had his mask removed and took in some spores and basically got infected and started trying to cure this plague that was happening. Inoculated his fellow battle brothers with the air quoting the
Dave is using air quotations.
Inoculating them with the serum to protect them against it, and then they virus bomb the planet from the battle barge because they couldn't stop the plague, and they go back to their citadel where he continues to inoculate everybody else, converting them all slowly over.
He's patient zero,
and
that's how AIDS spread,
right? So he goes from being just a normal in my fluff, the way I wrote it. It's just 3 or 4 paragraphs, but he goes from being apothecary brother so and so to apothecary lord to plague lord, in the way he's addressing to himself as he's slowly converting. But
so if you ever miss, you're doing write-ups now, I see, right?
I'm trying to, do some.
So in the future, if you ever miss one, I'm going to write the missing link story, which talks about him fucking a monkey and where he gets in the first place. That explains the...
Well, you'll never see them because I will post them to the internet. So
you better hurry. And then there'll be the bathhouse in the battle barge.
You know what? I wasn't even going
to... He inoculates.
With his cough.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to write up fluff. I just had it in my head and what the reason I had it and what it was going. But I had to come up with a name for the guy because somebody was calling him Apothecary Can't Hit Shit. And I couldn't have that stick.
I believe it was pronounced Canthishit.
That's true. That's true.
So Canthishit is pretty good for an apothecary. It's all where the punctuation's at.
We ended the plague right there. Yeah. Just a small handful of tech marines.
Three regular tech guys just sitting there. This guy can't hit shit. We can't hit him either for some reason.
Half the world away. Dan Abnett smiles. My story is intact.
So Dan, if you want to use this as a jumping off point for a book, you can make checks payable to Mob Rules. That's spelled CASH.
CASH.
It's British.
Yeah. It's weird I don't remember that. Super weird. Ted, what you been up to?
Doing commission work. Did a whole bunch of worm hordes. I feel like I'm just stopping the party. There's all these dick jokes, and I like to talk about worm hordes.
They're all dicks. People who play worm hordes, right?
Yeah.
So it's a joke that they play it.
It was kind of neat. I was putting together this legion. I have no idea how this game works. I've had people tell me that there's no dice and that it's really, I don't know.
Maybe you're just playing as really shitty opponents. Do I roll for this? No, you just straight up lose. There's no dice.
So we had this friend growing up that used to actually when second edition came out, Bothell. When it came out, he borrowed my books, never returned them. So actually, that was I quit playing 40K when Bothell perpetually borrowed my second edition books. I'm like, well, fuck this. But he taught me how to play after he borrowed them. And it was stuff like that. It was like, oh yeah, I reroll all this and I can bring the Harlequin's kisses. They just kill all your Terminators. I don't know. It was ridiculous.
Speaking of second-party models, I don't think those guys ever bought a model.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they meant their own. But so anyway, War Machine. They have this big dragon thing, so I had to do like 24 guys and then this large centerpiece. It was this dragon, an Archangel, Legion of Archangel, Legion of Everblight, or something like that. Anyway, it's probably the size of like a flying hive tyrant, maybe just a little bit bigger. But it's supposed to be a centerpiece, and so I had to paint it in such a way that I was looking at his paint scheme and then looking at the model, and I mean it has those ginormous wings, and like what do you do with ginormous wings to make them a centerpiece model? Like it's a big tarp, like with some sticks sticking through it. So, but I kind of tried my hand at like trying to get do some like micro texturing and stuff. So you're just trying to get like slight shades in there, get the veins, pull out the veins, and the little squigglies. But it turned out really good. I was really happy with it. Although at one point I went to spray them, and it was really humid out, and I painted them white after I was done with my clear coat. So I had to go back and try to fix the frosting. So, and I'm usually really good about this. When you go to clear coat, make sure you check the humidity in your area. If it's raining, bad idea. Don't do it.
See, and that's one reason I've never sealed my models is I've never ever had luck with it. And it's just there's something for me where so there's one I spent a long time painting up a Calexis Assassin, an old school metal one I got. I loved how it turned out. It looked great. I was able to actually highlight it well. Yeah. And then I went to clear coat it, and it turned white.
Yeah. So the humidity is a big thing. Like that really was. It was like the day, if I did it the day before, it would have been fine. But the next day it was raining. There's a high humidity level. Like right now would probably not be a good time to do it. And
because we're recording, it would be rude to get away from the table.
Also, it's pretty steamy in here as well.
So fucked up on aerosol, it'd be great. The podcast would be like twice as good. But yeah, it just wouldn't work out. But for the most part, I usually have good luck with it. But it was just like that day, I just got a little too eager and had to go back and do some touch ups. And I also painted my. I was just finishing up the Dorito Dread.
The Dorito Dread.
Yeah.
Sorry, you mispronounced it there.
Sorry, I had the Cooler Ranch Dorito Dread. And the arms, I just finished the arms, and those being as that it's Iron Hands, and they're half black, they turned all white. So it was really tragic. So I kept I went online to see what other people doing, and one guy was saying if you take a soft toothbrush and just rub it, you can get some of that sheen of the matte off. Mm-hmm. Another person was saying use a gloss coat, and then you can do a dull coat on top of that. And then that'll kick it down. I actually did that. I fixed some of his models that way, so it worked out. The Dorito or the Cooler Ranch Dorito Dread did not work out so well.
I didn't know what you're talking about. That was another War Machine unit. To clarify,
what are we talking about?
So I think I have to strip it. I'm just gonna get the rubbing alcohol.
Did you see the new arms for the Dorito Dread?
Oh, the heavy las
coming out of Forge World Weekender.
Oh, that's gonna be sexy. Strength 10 AP 2. What was they had some other rule to them too, didn't it? It was
fuck uppener, I think. The fuck uppening, but no, they look awesome. And I love the fact that each gun coming out for the Dorito is getting bigger and more ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
So eventually I expect to see Titan arms just pinned to it and just a tiny little chassis in the center.
I'm really excited about that Knight that's coming out.
At me, bro.
With the turbo lasers, the Knight with the 2 turbo lasers, whatever they are.
That can add to your growing collection of Knights.
Yeah, that I tried to sell on eBay and
Did you?
I tried to. I put it up there for $500. This is a month or two ago, and I had a couple watchers, and then it didn't sell, and then I put it up at $400 and got even fewer watchers, and then that was it. Nobody bought it, so
you get $20. I mean,
that sounds like it's totally worth it.
Well, I have to buy a completely different rule book to use it, so you got to think of my situation.
And I'd probably have to. You'd probably have to strip it down.
Right, I have to strip it down.
You would need to strip it off and have you. He could commission you to repaint it to fit his army.
Yeah. I was actually.
But then I just wouldn't play with it unpainted.
I kind of a long time ago. I used to paint up I'd put together an army, and then I would sell it on eBay. That's kind of how I made my rent and everything. And it was every 2 months I'd be selling off an entire army and just kind of bank it, buy new stuff. And but yeah, it seems like the market has really changed to where it's harder to do that, where you just put together an army or parts of an army, sell it. But now it seems like it's almost in the commission work, because I think like when we were doing like Price is Right a while back, you know, like the commission work was really expensive. It was $300 to paint a knight or whatever. But then if I sell a knight for like twice the value,
yeah, but you're not actually seeing the commission, what they're actually paying for. You're just seeing what they're asking for on eBay for commission. Like, hey, it's $1,500 to paint a Titan. Okay, well, how many Titans have you painted? Go to my page and take a look. Oh, the answer to that is 0. So clearly you've sold, none. But
yeah, well, I'd be curious to see. I mean, there's so many of those people up there, and maybe they're all just hopeful and nobody actually does anything. But I think part of it is also, we had a guy on our Facebook forum selling off his knights, and they were amazingly well done, like better than the vast majority of people. Isaac. So he had like a Mechanicum set, but it was a paint scheme that nobody would be. I mean, people don't use. Like he kind of created his own scheme, and there's very few people in town that would have been able to like match it, like for quality. And but I think that it was like the fact that
weathering ability,
or weathering, but like hardly anybody would be able to. Or I think that it was so specific that you alienate the vast majority of your market. So people were like, "Dude, come down on the price." And actually, no, his price. No, I take it back. His price was good. I was saying he should bring his price up because he was selling it like at cost.
And we were all saying no, his price is probably good because that's a super specific. And it wasn't so much that it was a super specific scheme.
Mechanicum Sicarii.
It was that it was a difficult scheme for maybe others not quite at his level to replicate.
And nobody had that army, so you'd basically be starting a new army if you got it. So a lot of people were, and I think like in a way, like the Facebook forum is almost like for bargain hunters, not necessarily people looking for like quality stuff. So
I got some quality stuff off of the Facebook.
Yeah.
You can get some guys dig through their sheds occasionally and come up with really weird old stuff that some people jump on and go, oh, I'll take that.
Perhaps I'm using the word quality differently.
Some guy buys some other guy's Gorka Morka stuff whenever he finds more in his shed.
A different kind of quality.
Man, I missed that game so much. Now we brought it up again.
Yeah, well, there's talk of, I think Ramon was going to rock that as soon as Necromunda's done. So
we've been talking about it for like over a year, but then you know how flaky I am and my work schedule.
I was debating whether or not to say that much. But anyway, I think like the whole point, all that to all that is that I think it's harder for people to sell on Facebook. Like if you have a specific faction knight, like in this case a knight, or wherever it may be. If I was selling a Thunderhawk and it's like, hey, here's my Night Lord Thunderhawk, and try to sell it on eBay, I probably wouldn't fetch as much because people would. Like, well, I don't
play Night Lords.
I mean, you've got to go, if you're going to do commission stuff and try to sell it on eBay, excuse me, in the grand scheme of things, you really need to be going for what people are doing, like Blood Angels or Dark Angels or, I don't know, space, what are they, space puppies?
Puppies.
Yeah. And that was, I think, like when I was doing just selling armies on there, I definitely found that to be the case with like a Space Marine chapter that was, first off, I tried selling my Tau on there, and I tried selling orcs. Like I was like, oh, I'm fucking done with orcs.
You're never done with orcs.
Well, I split it into 3 parts and tried to sell like one batch at a time, and just lost my shirt on it. So like, fuck that. This is gonna be like the biggest thing I regret ever. Not the 13 kids in 4 different states, but that's
2 of which you claim is maybe partially
a great tax credit. But anyway, so yeah, going for something like the Space Marines sold for about triple what anything else would do. It's just simply because most people play Space Marines. So there's some truth to that. Also, I think that with the Forge World stuff, like people are in China are selling them for half the price, and
double the mold lines.
Double the mold lines, and like their cost of living is a lot lower, so they could probably charge a lot less for painting. And it's good. It's good, generally good looking stuff.
Every time I go on eBay and I see a red background, I know it's from China. I'm going to look at it just to see how much.
Or a tile floor background.
Oh,
Bad Influence Tata. He keeps sending me links because I kept on saying I wanted a higher duel. Because I have all the other ones, so I might as well get that one too. And then, like, I was like, Tata, this Hierodule is $60, and it's like, yeah, super cheap. I'm like, yeah, it usually sells for like $200, and this is a buy it now price.
Wow,
like, this might not be legit. Yeah. Well, personally, myself, moving on. I've been working on my unit for the whole Gamer's Tale thing going on. I have a unit of scouts that I assembled and painted, I think, in a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think I just kind of was like, well, I'm just gonna do it and get it out because I don't care.
And you even started on the next session too.
No, I did. That is for something different. I'll talk about in a second here. With the Scouts, the only thing I did differently than what I usually do is I actually primed them black. Whereas for all my Imperial Fists,
a little deeper color.
I prime them white, and then I'm like, oh god, I have so many gaps to go in and fill. But it's mainly because I don't want to paint mass yellow over black, just so I can not have any shadows, which just seems like a giant pain in the ass. I wanted to, because the Scouts are mainly like grays and beige, there's very little
fuchsia.
Actual yellow to them.
Yeah.
So the fuchsia underpants is obviously super important.
It's a little lace sticking out.
I did it that way. So I made and built and put 5 Sniper Scouts up there.
Oh, cool.
And so, that's me done. And I think next period I'm going to do the same thing again.
So painting over black with yellow wasn't a big deal?
No. So what I do...
I forgot. Did you say that you were airbrushing it or not?
No.
Okay.
So it's prime black, and then I put it on brown where it goes yellow.
Okay.
And then I put my yellow on top of the brown.
How many layers of yellow before you get it
Just
to
one.
the center of the... Okay.
Well, because I do multiple, so like if I don't get clear coverage on that first coat of yellow, because I do my little kind of orange reddish wash over it to get in the crevices, I know I have to go back over it again anyway.
Okay.
So that first pass through, I don't really worry super hugely about it being perfect. And then usually when I'm doing the kind of the touch ups and then the highlighting of the yellow, it comes out fine. Well, I think so. For my tabletop quality Marines, which is what I'm calling them now, then it comes out good.
Oh, cool.
And then I got bullied into a 30k Apocalypse game at Battle Brothers.
You got bullied into it.
Yeah. So
how did that happen?
We, of the couple of conventions we have coming up here, Alaska Battle Brothers is one of them. They had a guy. They're having a 3-person outside 30k Apocalypse battle, 3,500 points each. And someone dropped out or was unable to do it. It's like, hey, John, you should do it. I'm like,
oh, okay.
I'm not painting 3,500 points in 3 months.
Come on.
Then I eventually did agree to. So I started to get that assembled. So today I assembled 30 Bolter Marines.
Wow.
Well, partially assembled. So I think I talked to you about this before, Ted. The bolt guns aren't attached.
Right.
I'm going to be priming those black because I hate painting white on black. There's literally nothing I would rather not do. And then the backpacks aren't attached.
Try out this flood of different things that I'd rather do than...
Yeah. There's literally thousands of things I would rather do than paint black right on white.
Okay. So there are things that you'd... Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So butt sex with a rusty...
bath in a robot with a bath in a bathroom.
Less paintful than painting black over white.
Okay.
All right. So,
cool.
I'm just kind of starting to get everything assembled. I bought a new airbrush a couple weeks ago.
Brad, what'd you get?
I got the Sotar 2020.
Oh, cool.
That was going for its usual Amazon special price.
Yeah, so nice.
Yeah, so I picked that up, and I think my goal is to assemble all the 30k stuff and then just spend a day with an airbrush just spraying yellow until I don't want to see yellow anymore.
So another thought was, I know Xenothal painting, where you paint something black and then you take white real quick and hit the highlights, and then it's appreciating, and then you're able to go back on top of it. That might not be a bad way to go too, is do your black primer and then go in, touch up all the little details that you didn't hit with the primer, with your black paint. And then on top of that, once that's all done, take your white paint, shoot it from up top so you get the highlights.
Yeah.
And that might make it a little bit easier when you hit the yellow too. And then you're still using white, but then all the crevices are filled with black.
Yeah. I'm going to have to test it out and see how that comes out. I never thought of doing that.
Just thought of that.
Yeah,
or alternatively, just spray yellow across the whole thing, take a brush and go, that's the gun, that's the gun, that's the gun. It's... How many are you painting?
That's only 2 colors. I need 3 colors. Essentially,
purity seals on everything.
Aside from my Fire Raptor, which is 90% painted and assembled, nothing else was painted or assembled.
Just dawned on me how silly a purity seal on your ankle is.
Yeah.
Anybody ever think of that? Your
I don't know. None of my Marines have purity seals.
I feel I feel that the servitor going to put the seal on the shoulder slipped. And boom, smacked it down. Smacked it down, and it's oh shit, it's sealed on. And it says you're good, you're pure.
I don't know. Purity seals are like tattoos. Okay, so obviously the Marine walked up, whipped up his leg, slapped it on the table, and was like, "Give me a butterfly right there." And he's like, "For the Emperor, protect you."
So now are you gonna start putting purity seals like on the back?
I was gonna say. I really, really want to have one of my...
Hey, what does your purity seal say?
It's Japanese. It means peace.
So now there's going to be a single 30K Marine who has a purity seal tramp stamp.
Oh, jeez. When I was younger and less
Winging out of the
doughy,
side.
oh yeah. So when I was younger and less doughy, I used to get like cougars like asking me. They would see my piercings and be like, "So where else you been pierced?" And that would be a great place, you know,
Your
like,
vagina.
where else do you have purity seals?
I love this story where he said cougars.
Yeah.
I think he meant bears.
Well, that was when I moved back to Alaska.
Why is everyone
Whoa.
why is every group named after an animal? That's what I don't get.
Predatory
Cougars
animal.
and bears. Oh, predatory.
Chicken hawk.
Oh,
Yeah, that's true.
You gotta watch out for those chicken hawks.
I worked with this one guy who was a judge, and he was a gay judge, but he would always like tell you how he was picking up on younger gay guys, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a chicken hawk." I'm like, oh, that's great. Good for you. I'm too old.
Today I learned chicken hawk means
Yeah.
old judge.
Picking up
Sexual
on
male,
young.
yeah. Old gay judge is a chicken hawk.
I'm giving you 5 to 8 years, inches. All right, I think that's a good point to stop. We're going to take a quick break.
The only reason it stopped was the prison association was upset.
We'll be right back after this quick break. We're going to talk about Lost Patrol.
Ooh.
We found it.
Oh,
Yeah, mystery solved.
it's under the box top.
Let's get rid of it. I don't want to. I don't want to play anymore.
Fear consumed my every waking moment. It wasn't rational, but there it was, ruining my life. Then one day I came across a book called How to Be a Cheating Asshole. From the very first chapter, it helped me to confront my fear head on. In a world filled with easy answers and cheap solutions, How to Be a Cheating Asshole showed me that the way out of my despair was to use loaded dice and not declare what I'm rolling. Its message was so strong and so real that it put me on the road to a happier, more fulfilling life. And it made my fear a part of my past.
Stop by your local retailer now for a copy of How to Be a Cheating Asshole. Also available in audiobook, read by somebody who only sounds like Donald Trump.
Vibe up there.
Yeah.
Woo. So
It's up.
Lost Patrol.
Lost Patrol. So,
A re-release
right.
coming out here.
What was it, 2000 or 2001?
It was... I don't know.
Okay, so it was a re-release.
Lost Patrol existed. No, wait, that was one of the Space Hulk expansions that had the Hulk.
So the Scouts were originally, I think, introduced in Advanced Space Crusade, which came out, I think, in '92.
Yes, it was Scouts versus Tyranids. The first.
That was
Tyranid
the first time.
Warriors.
Mm-hmm. And I think at the time, I remember, they had that set came out, and that was with Milton Bradley. But then I think they released it later on as Tyranid Attack, and I think they also you could just buy a box set with the Tyranids and the Scouts in it, and I bought that one.
You could buy either. I think it was singles. You either bought because you wanted to expand your force for that.
Originally, I think it came as a bundle, and then I think they did do singles as well. They definitely did singles as well. But what was the deal with that? So those are the Blousies. The blousy Scouts were great.
The ones with the mohawks that look like they rolled out of a David Bowie video back in the day. Just in the 90s.
Oh, man. I love the heavy bolter. Like, the heavy bolter was so cool. Like, it looked like a ghetto blaster. Like, the way he was holding it, like, up on his shoulder, big boxy thing.
That's the way all of them were held back in the day.
I know, but it was just, like, that one in particular looked like a space age, like, ghetto blaster.
Yeah, it was released in 2000 by Jake Thornton, a former White Dwarf editor.
Cool.
And games designer, I would say, for Games Workshop.
I'd be curious to see, like, how that one played. Because I was working because it was 2000, so I think that was, like, right after I left the comic book shop in the game store. But yeah, I mean, I never heard of it until this game came out.
I'm looking at it here. He actually has a website, as everyone does. He kept a living FAQ going over the rules pretty much to this day.
Really?
There's rules for adding Sniper Scouts to the original game. There's a lot of interaction kind of with the people of that. But it seems to have kind of a little cult following. Lost Patrol.
The old one or the
new, both of them, I would assume.
Okay.
I would say the old one more because this one didn't really seem to set the world on fire. But Lost Patrol is about our and giggle along with me, people, titular scouts who are a lost patrol on a jungle world beset on all sides by gene stealers.
Silly scouts always getting
Silly
into
scouts.
trouble like that.
Starting in the middle of the jungle, they have to kind of spread out and find a drop pod so they can get the fuck off of there and survive.
You know, I kind of look at, now that you mention it, I've been trying to figure out like how gene stealers work into a jungle world. It seems to me like, you know, they're kind of the forward sentries, right, of the Tyranids. They kind of go in, do their thing, try to infect a cult or whatever.
That sounds right.
And then with this, you know, like what if it's so infested by gene stealers? Like, how did they get there? Like, how did they get, like, a fleet of gene stealers there? Typically, it's, like, one or two that kind of stow away on a Hulk until they get to where they're going.
Yeah, but they get off the Hulk, and then they start infecting the alien down the throat and turn people into them using psychic and other abilities, and that's how they expand. That's how the cults expand and take over worlds.
But in this case, it's a jungle world.
In the original game, it wasn't gene stealers.
Oh, okay.
It was quote unquote lurkers.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't a GW property at the time?
No, it was absolutely a GW property at the time.
Yeah, lurkers were in Road Trader. It was
those are the ones with the weird tentacly Cthulhu-looking faces.
Oh, so you mean modern gene stealers?
Well, it became oh, wasn't that right? What did the lurkers look like? Anyway.
No, I think that's what they were.
But then now I think, like, discussing it, like, it almost seems like the gene stealers are like mosquitoes, you know, in a way in this game. You know, like they're kind of sitting there like, crap. Well, we went to this dead world where we can't really infect anything and turn it into our.
Just sleeping until a scout walks by,
infecting like guinea pigs, and that doesn't really turn into anything menacing or awesome. And we can
disagree completely. I would think a four-armed giant claw-wielding purple guinea pig would be very terrifying.
So now they're just like laying in the cut, waiting to infect a human so they could start their cult.
Well, to kind of quote the designer in this one here. The lurkers were based on the old horror movie principle that things are usually scarier if you don't see them clearly. Having them as a barely seen teeth and glowing eyes allows everyone to imagine them as scary in a way that would be far less effective if there were models. Mm-hmm. So just counters. Scary as counters. But counters nonetheless.
Okay.
I didn't play this game. This was kind of during my you know, everyone has their time away from the hobby before they come back. But yeah, we sat today and we played a few rounds of the new one.
Quite a few rounds,
kind of trying to get into it there.
And after we read the rules after playing the first round, it went much faster.
Yeah, death came much faster. Ted, what's your thoughts on the 2016 version of the game?
So, as a comparison, I couldn't, but just as a standalone, I think that, you know, we played quite a few rounds. Initially, like, you know, the first few, you know, I was playing the Gene Stealers, so naturally I made the rules differently so that I would win more efficiently. But I think that there were some considerations, and then, but I think like once we got the rules down, it was pretty obvious that no matter what, like I think that what did we play, like 7 games or something?
Yeah.
The Space Marines never won, and I think the last game we played, we ended up modifying the rule a bit, like how
to try and make it a little easier for the Marine.
So the way you do it is you have your centerpiece tile, you put your 5 Marines on it. When they shoot, typically there's only like 3 kinds of people. You either have like your trooper, your sergeant, and your heavy weapons guy. And no matter what heavy weapon it is, it's all the same. No matter what weapon you give your guys, it's all the same. Your sergeant's special weapon doesn't do anything special. It's really highly simplified. You're moving by tiles. Everybody's moving by tiles, and so you're just trying to get to the very last tile, which is a drop pod, and that's how you get off the planet or get to your whatever it is. You get evacuated there. But that's a problem when you're going through, you know, what was it, like 28 tiles? I think it's 28 tiles or something like that.
Yeah.
Or 27. And so if anybody gets, any of your scouts get separated enough, like they have... I'm not going to go into the criteria for that, but if you get separated enough, you have to pull the scouts. But if you don't see tiles, I think there's also another criteria. So you have to, if you're within 2 spaces of being able to see a tile, it remains. But if you ever get to the point where you're more than 2 spaces away from being able to see it, you pull the tile off, and now all of a sudden Gene Stealers can attack you closer. So now Gene Stealers come in at the endpoints of pathways. So it becomes really easy to assault. So you have... Gene Stealers do not have to abide by the paths, where Space Marines do. You can only have 3 guys on a tile. If you ever get pushed into your enemy, they die. If there's not enough space and you get pushed into a tile, then whoever can't fit there dies. It's just, if you ever get to the point where your Space Marines are in a loop, they're dead. you lose the game. So there's just like a lot of, and you could just get killed, which happened more than anything.
There's only one way to win, and that's to get to the drop pod, which looks wrecked as heck, by the way, on the tile. I was like, I don't know how they're going to fly that away, but
MacGyver it.
but yeah, you're just I played the first 2 games as scouts, and the first game Ted was shuffling tiles that you remove away back into the deck, with the last tile in the deck being the, hey, here's the drop pod. So we played for about 20 minutes before I went, dude, I'm never going to find the drop pod, because as soon as the other tiles come off, he was shuffling back in. I was like, I can't, this can't be right. So, then we figured out that you find the drop pod by having it be the last tile, and nothing gets shuffled back in. It's like, okay, that makes more sense.
So you just weed through all the tiles. Yeah. You have to survive to weed through all the tiles.
And I didn't even come close to winning. And then John played, and Ted somehow managed to lay out some sort of super highway. It was like 8 tiles straight away. It kept laying out. It just burned through the tile. They're like, well, that's fun.
Well, for me, it was very fun, even though I didn't win.
Because that's part of the mechanic, is that like once you put down a tile, so the Gene Stealer player put down a tile, and as long as you can see through it, if there's a curve, you can't see around it. But if there's a straightaway, you keep laying down tiles until there's a block line of sight. Right, and that's so that's how you burn through tiles. Anyway, you're gonna.
I was gonna say the game when you're playing as the Space Marines is extremely hard. That is something that was true in the original edition. Something that's true in this new edition. And it was something that was honestly designed that way. Through interviews, Jake Thorne has said that it's meant to be. They're on a death world. They are the last of their thing. It's not meant to be easy to do. My just concern with it is, man, was it really, really, really hard? Yeah. Like I said, we played a whole bunch of games today, but really close to 10, and not a single Marine win in all of them.
Yeah.
It was a little bumming out, kind of. I think it turned, for me anyway, less of will my guys get to the draw pod to escape, rather than will I last longer than Dave? Or, will I actually pull the pod? But it does a very good job of kind of showing a unit in a death world, kind of moving about. Everything's changing. Everything's there to kill you. I did enjoy the kind of the hex tiles and that ability to remove the jungle behind you, and then if you walk backwards again, it's completely different. Yeah, it does do a very good job of showing that. What did we feel playing as the Gene Stealers when we were replacing the tiles and doing all the kinds of stuff?
I felt that it was, like there were a lot of times where I'd like play softball. I think, when it got to the point, like I think that at one point, John was the closest to winning. I think you were able to reveal the drop pod, and you were like right there. There was a guy, right?
You were the closest to winning when we played the last game where we put the tile in the middle.
Oh, but when we go by just the regular proper rules without us cheating, that I was.
Well,
the
that's not cheating.
Well, I think that honestly, I think that John was, just because he had a guy right next. Well, okay, no, you're right. I had a guy right next to it too. Yeah. So I guess we're.
I killed him immediately.
But there was a point where now I think like the problem is like, all right, the Gene Stealers get 3 actions. They can either put down a new Gene Stealer at the end of a path that can't be seen, or they just say at the end of a path. Which,
they say the end of a path.
They can be seen.
Yeah.
So I think
they need to be not seen for it to truly work.
Infestations, so you can put down a place that basically creates like a little gateway for you to just pop guys out. So it could be like right next to the Space Marines, and they can start popping out that turn. And then I think the last one is move, and there's different ways you can do that. You can either move like one guy up to 3, 2 guys that are together up to 2, or 3 guys that are together up to 1 space. And then after that, you get a free assault. And I think that becomes really problematic because, unless you time everything just right, your Space Marine scout is popping up, like, they might be at the end of their move, which I think was the case with you and I, where, we run around the corner, like the drop site or the drop pod pops up, and then you're sitting there staring at it, and now all of a sudden the Gene Stealer player can put down 3 Gene Stealers right there, and they get to assault at the end of the turn, which is a free thing. And that might be something else to change too, maybe when we modify rules.
I feel to modify it to make it really work, I think the game as is fine, but Gene Stealers should not be able to spawn on the drop pod.
Yeah, that's kind of cheesy. Because, in the grand scheme of things, I didn't have to spawn on the drop pod against Ted. I could have spawned on the exact opposite side and got the exact same effect, however, because he spawned it on a Y, and I would have still been able to assault you.
Yeah. But for mine, when I was playing Ted, I managed to spawn the drop pod at the end of a windy path. Mm-hmm. It was, yeah.
And you knew what it was going to be at that point, because I don't think we were doing the modified. So I think,
because I only had one tile. It was the last tile,
yeah. And I think with mine, it was random. So I think I guess perhaps a strategy might be in the future, if you still have one movement, the next thing, if you have two movement and that it's coming up in two tiles or whatever, maybe you want to save that movement so you can just bum rush in there versus me putting down 3 Gene Stealers. Of course, it'd be really hard anyway, because I could potentially bring in 3 Gene Stealers and assault you the next turn. And I think the way that mechanic works is, with you roll a dice basically to see if you win or lose the combat. 1 dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you have one guy and it gets assaulted by Gene Stealers, you have to beat the Gene Stealers threat rating or whatever, their assault rating. The assault rating is 2 for every Gene Stealer you have. So if you assault with 1, you have to beat a 2. If you assault with a 2, you have to beat a 4, and then a 6. If you only have one guy, he's at -1. So already on his die roll. So, if I have 6 Gene Stealers, you can't win. You can't tie. If you have 2 guys, now that modifier's gone. If you have a sergeant, you get +1. If a sergeant's by himself, it's a wash. So, I think that was just, it's really tough. If you have one guy right there, and then all of a sudden the next turn, the Gene Stealer player plops down 3 Gene Stealers, he's toast.
Yeah.
And I think I went softball and put down 2 just so you had a chance. But it didn't work out.
I did not. I wanted you to feel the Gene Stealer rate that you'd been dishing out to us.
And it worked. And I think that was even more, that's where I think John was closer to winning, just because after you beat that guy, I had to slog it all the way across the jungle. I was like, this is so painful. I lose harder.
I wanted you to enjoy losing.
So I think that was, what would we modify it by putting, I think we were discussing putting the drop pod in the deck and shuffling it so it's random.
So I think the best way to do it would be that you shuffle your deck of tiles, you split them in half, and you shuffle the pod into the bottom half.
Yeah.
And then you put your top half back on, and then you draw from there. Even then, I don't think, if you just do the simple change of not letting the Gene Stealers or the Lurkers, whatever, spawn on the draw pod, then that's the only change you need to make.
So now,
I honestly feel that.
And as the Gene Stealer player in the game where we shuffled it in, it actually brought for me an element of, oh, come on, don't be the drop pod, don't be the drop pod, don't be the drop pod.
Oh, yeah,
because if it had spawned, obviously if in the initial spawn, if it had been here's the drop pod, we would have shuffled it back in and gone again, because that's just and I win, hooray. But but yeah, after we got past that initial phase, it could have been any one. So every time you were exposing something, I was like, oh, don't be the drop pod, come on.
It does that, because playing the Gene Stealers, it wasn't super exciting. There was a little bit of strategy to it. I guess I'm going to spawn here, and here. But because you're so inactive, you as a Gene Stealer player or the Lurker player, you don't roll any dice. You don't. You get to decide how the path goes and where your Gene Stealers go. But I guess it's just weird for me to play a game without really interacting with it like that on a kind of a mechanic level. Aside from, again, deciding where the path goes. But yeah, I still feel if you just did the one thing of don't spawn on the pod, it would be fine.
Yeah, I think going to positivisms and I think the playing as a Space Marine. I think so. Of all the games that we've played, since they've been rushing us with all Death Bite Undertow and
Death Kill Overwatch was our accepted term for that. I had to think about it.
And so Calth, Renegades. What else have we played? We do a review on. Didn't
you do the Titan review?
Yeah,
we did
Renegades. That was the Calth, Renegades.
Right.
This.
Oh, I guess I could do the Death from the Skies, but that doesn't really count. Yeah. We got to do the Flyer one at some point. But anyway, I think that Calth, has always been my top favorite game that we've played, and I think that there was just so much strategy to it. Death Kill Underbite didn't quite. It's going to change every time I say it. Sorry. It was fun, but it didn't quite have the strategy that Calth had. I think this one, from the Space Marines perspective, the Gene Stealers, it was really straightforward. You just rush in and kill stuff, rush in and kill stuff, rush in and kill stuff.
Well, that's all you can do. So
so you have your 3 turns. You have to pick them. The 3 actions, but it's generally, like you have a wad of guys, you're throwing them at the Space Marines. But I think that, like, as a Space Marine player, there was a lot of strategy.
Oh, for sure.
It was intense, the amount of stuff. I mean, everything you did was really a gamble, and I think that Calth was had that in a lot of ways, but this has it more so. You know, like, do you want to take and sacrifice your guy to, like, run up and try to reveal more tiles? I mean, when you do that, it's a gamble. Like, is it going to be a curve or is it going to be a straightaway? And there you go, like 6 tiles out of the pile, or, you know, like, and that was a blast. I thought,
for sure. I mean,
really
if you look
cool.
at the first 2 games we played. Dave, you did the Marines in the first one. You kept them pretty bunched together and kind of explored around.
Right.
I played as the Marines next, and my first thing was to kind of spread out and try and get rid of as many tiles as possible. I think, like I said, positively, as a Marine player, there is a lot of fun to that. Mm-hmm. It is very hard to win as a Marine player, but the tactic part is super fun. I think my issue with the game is that as a 2-player experience, it isn't quite as... I think it would be great for, like, a dad to play with their kid. You know? Like, if you have...
I hate you, son. I'm going to beat your ass. Jesus.
Well, I mean,
I
they're still going to softball it, but as the Gene Stealer player... You could
kid would get crushed.
you can kind of control the direction of the game and the map, and you know, you can kind of talk them through it on that, and then you can facilitate their fun doing it that way. I just feel it's kind of like 2 adults doing it. Like, we played it for a couple of hours, and I think that was about a half hour too long. You know, by the time we're done, I think we're just kind of like, okay, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I mean, we had a different perspective. Like, we weren't necessarily just doing it for fun. You know, like we started out that way, and I think that I'm speaking for everybody, I guess. But I think, like, part of it was, you know, we were also trying to push through to figure out, like, the game too. But
yeah,
and the rulebook is very simple, but also very unsimplified at the same time. I felt like there was stuff
copyright Games Workshop.
Right. there was some stuff that just felt like it wasn't explained very well. Like the assault was not explained. Give me a stat line across, like, hey, if this guy's here, this guy's here. I couldn't find that very easily.
Oh, kind of like a reference table.
A reference table would be awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nice reference table. In fact, just one of those hard
bullets
cards.
Give me bullets and lists.
One of those cards from back in the day that used to come with the rules that would give you the reference table like that. Just one of the cards.
Back in the day when you had to decide what part of the rhino you were shooting.
Always shoot the back, man. Always shoot the back.
Oh man, well I think I'm good on Lost Patrol.
Yeah, I think it was a blast. I mean, I think it was really fun. And I think, like, it definitely, you have to take it with a different perspective than you usually take these games. Like, instead of coming at it like, all right, it's balanced, it's equal, who's going to win? You know, like, let's just play this out and find out. Like, I think with this, it's almost like you're playing Tetris. You know, like, you're going to lose at some point, but you know where you're going to lose.
Yeah.
Or you can look at it like,
I Tetris.
Because you don't play.
Honestly, it reminded me of the way it's so stacked against the Marine player. It reminded me of the very first Space Hulk game. You know, where you knew you were dead. It didn't matter. You do the best you can to complete your objective and whatnot, and move on. And you know, they had that in tiers. You fought each round, but it was the Gene Stealers just popping up randomly. I mean, I don't think I ever won as Marines in Space Hulk in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, that's kind of neat. I think I realized this, like, after I opened the box. I texted John this, like, you know what? I have 3 games now where the antagonists are Gene Stealers. I, by default, have a Gene Stealer army. Like, oh, great. I was trying to get rid of my armies.
And for the price point, you get some pretty decent models that you can use in other things there.
It doesn't have any flyer and it's terrible Tyranid.
Will not Tyranid.
Yeah. 0 flyer and does not Tyranid.
I'm actually going to make buy like 60 boxes of Lost Patrol and just make an all scout shotgun army, because when I fired the shotgun, stuff died.
It's really, I think honestly for the price point, it's $60. A scout squad is $25. You could buy 2 of them for $50. I think, how much is a Gene Stealer?
That's what I'm looking up, because I don't think it's that great a deal.
It really isn't. Like, this is one of the first ones, like, besides the flyer boxes that are coming out. They usually save like $10, I think, for those. But
the really flyer where you can get 2 terrible flyers for factions you don't have for like a 5% saving.
Yeah. But
Well,
Going super positive today.
But the cool thing is, something I did. This is really superficial, and eventually want to paint over them anyway. But what I really dug was that the Gene Stealers, like the plastic, was like what, dark blue, or is that purple?
the old dark blue color. Yeah.
And then you had like the Marines. The plastic was red. So I thought that was kind of cool. I ended up using my gray ones, but I had.
So
Wait.
What?
You're telling me you brought other models that were in the box?
It's the exact same sculpts.
Oh.
You're telling me you brought other models that were not in the box. No wonder we couldn't do anything. Did you also bring us some of those cheaty dice you guys talked about last time, where the stuff was weighted to different sides?
Yeah, which is
That's
Dave's
supposed
levels? I'm gonna turn him down.
Hold on.
I'm gonna Fox News you.
It's okay. So 8 Gene Stealers are $30. So 12 that you get in the box, say $45,
Okay.
$25. So it's about $10 saving.
Okay.
So
All right, and you get 3 dice for free.
yeah, it's the dice that really make it.
It's the green dice.
The components are really good. I had fun with it. It was good.
Yeah.
Just you have to prepare
Short little
yourself.
waster.
Prepare yourself that if you're the Marine, you will die. And I read online someone had mentioned that if you can't get a copy of the game, just have a friend put a burlap sack over your head and beat you, because that is a very similar thing. Okay, so we're going to take another quick break, and then we'll be right back with a returning old favorite. Oh, so excited.
Is it-
Underpants.
It's just eBay prices, right? I've had like 2 people ask me why it's not been on recently.
Thank God. I was afraid when I was coming on. Ted told me that I had to be naked, and I was afraid it was time for me to be naked.
Well, Ted and I are.
Butt stuff.
Right back.
Man, ladies kept checking their drinks. Thanks, Bill Cosby.
Hey, buddy, have you tried chocolate? It's a natural aphrodisiac that doesn't trigger any of the FBI's chemical tests.
Wow. Thanks, guy.
Where are you going?
To the grocery store.
Chocolate for that special lady that doesn't know she's special. Yet.
And that's the play button.
Oh man, what's this? New non-copyright infringing music for eBay Prices Right?
This is nothing like Price is Right.
I honestly feel like I should just order a slipper and go on up to the room. I just came in
too,
on the dusty trail.
Right before somebody gets into a shootout.
I turned it up a little bit to drown out Ted's negativity there. Well, I know it's usually the other way around, but here we go. Of course, eBay Price is Right, the #1 online podcast-based version of Price is Right relating to Warhammer.
I don't think anybody does it.
It is my favorite, actually, out of all
Yeah?
of the online Warhammer 40k podcast-based game shows. It's my favorite.
We are #1. So we are talking about, obviously, Lost Patrol today. We're talking about Scouts. But for our topic... For our topic for today's eBay Price is Right, from our Lost Patrol, we are looking at out-of-print Warhammer 40,000 miniatures.
Oh.
Ooh, so, because, they're lost miniatures. They're lost to time.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, see, it's pretty clever.
The death world of eBay.
All of my prices do not include shipping this time. It is all
Okay.
base. It is all in US dollars, so no crazy asking about other country money.
Okay.
Australian dollars. So yeah, let's just jump right on in here. I have a Necromunda 40k Bounty Hunter. This is the dude with the cyber arm holding a chainsword. Little lasgan up in there. Kind of look like Rambo with a mohawk. Or no, not mohawk.
12.
Mullet. 12? Okay.
Oh, what? What? Were you going to say 12? Were you going to say 12, Dave?
Do we got to buzz in?
You have to buzz
Yeah,
in.
you gotta buzz in.
Are we closest without going over?
Yeah.
Actually, 1201, please.
Oh, he's gonna be this kind of game.
Oh, are you looking at the notes?
No.
Look at the notes.
Oh, no.
I live on eBay. I work throughout my day. I spend at least 4 hours on eBay.
Well, then you suck ass because it was actually
I
$10. $10. What? Which, well, it wasn't the best bounty hunter model, to be honest. It was, it was. There were some better ones out there, but that's okay. All right, let's move on here to.
Did you just fart?
I'm just enjoying the music. A Calexis Assassin, the out-of-print metal Calexis Assassin.
Oh, wow.
I get to go first on this one, right?
You gotta buzz
No.
in. Okay. That was Dave buzzing in. Thank
All right,
you.
go for it. Do you guys-
Can I buzz in with Ted's name?
I'm going to buzz
Ted.
it now.
The out-of-print assassin,
Yes.
regular standard model, just a regular base.
God damn it.
In
You already
package.
buzzed. Say this before you
package.
buzz.
Sorry, I
Cheating
wasn't
ass
sure.
white
I didn't
man.
know if I had to buzz it first. I was like,
Okay.
but yeah,
I
You
will-
just buzzed?
I will clarify: a regular assassin model, unpainted, and unassembled.
I'm gonna go actually just go $10.
Okay.
20. Yeah, just 20.
Bearing in mind that the brand new plastic one is 25.
Is it 25?
So around
Okay.
there, yeah. Not that I want to
Wow,
change you
that's-
at all, or
Oh,
but yeah.
okay, yeah.
It feels like some
All right,
some,
stick with 20.
canoodling.
In 20?
Yeah.
Okay.
Caboodling?
Dave, you were right. It was exactly $10.
Whoa!
You get a bonus point for being a dick. No.
Well, then I am living in bonus points.
All right, guys, we got
All
a
over your face.
Not the bonus point all over.
We got ourselves some GWWH40K set of official Necromunda magazines, issues number 1 through 6.
Oh. $6.
$6.
I Necromunda magazines, and they gotta be going. I actually want to go like $8.99 or something like that.
$8.99.
Yeah,
Or something like that.
yeah.
Dave,
85.
you won without going over. It was $30.
Oh.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Is that's actual? That's just what they're selling for?
No,
Not what somebody
this is
bought
all.
them for?
This is all
Sold?
sold
Yeah.
items.
I ask that every time.
Yeah.
Daddy's got a bunch of Necromunda magazines. He's getting ready to offload on eBay.
All right. So,
Buy yourself a ham sandwich.
man, it's really quiet now. I don't like
Yeah.
Play the music again. This really brings
There
me
we go. There we go. Woo! All right. Item number 3: a Dark Angels Samael #1 metal, well painted Warhammer 40K Space Marine ellipses.
What? Is it the, the jet bike version, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't realize he was out of print. He out of print?
Well, there's another one. Originally, it was a plastic and metal speeder.
Oh,
I
okay.
think I have some parts from it.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, the jet bike version.
Okay.
Now, bear in mind, this is eBay, and it is down as well painted.
Oh, shit. Not pro-painted, huh?
Damn. I'm gonna actually say $35.
$35 for Dave.
Oh. What do they go for normally? It's probably about that, right?
But you gotta.
20.
Dave, you were closest.
Damn it! I was hoping you were too high.
$98.
Oh my God!
Oh, I got to see the picture of this.
Wait.
Is it
Now,
that
this is
well
the-
painted?
Yeah. No, I gotta see this too.
Because that's like double.
Won't see
Right?
Shit,
I
no.
was given an extra.
right there.
It's not that well painted. Let me see
Hold
this.
on,
Bring it closer.
Ted is
Okay.
pulling the iPad closer to him to more examine.
I'm sorry. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, first
But I
off,
don't
it's
know.
out of how
I mean,
long ago was how long ago was it painted?
You can see the raccooning from the wash on the cape.
The what raccooning?
Raccoon, like raccoon eyes, like where it gets darker around the edges, where the wash didn't cover. So it looked like
You elitist painting motherfucker. You know what? I'm actually going to give credit to that. I think that is actually a fairly well painted based on
It's
how
not
the
a
model is.
$100 model though.
No,
No.
it's not. Well, I mean, that's a work of art, and you're paying for the art.
Nancy.
All right, we are halfway through here. Ted, you need to get
Sure, my kids crank out art all the time.
you need to get every single one right here
Oh, fuck.
to win. So I have a a Warhammer Whirlwind out of print Space Marine, but it's missing the missile part of it.
It's just the rhino.
So it is literally a rhino with a dude in the turret in the back kind of poking out, but it doesn't have the arms, it doesn't have the missiles, it's just an old school rhino.
It's
Yes.
$32.
Thank you, Dave. $32. Ted, how much would you pay for essentially a rhino with a sunroof?
15.
15. Ted, pulling it back. $19.99.
Oh, play a
I
what?
can't believe that.
What? I mean, I could see somebody like wanting to buy it for the old school
Do you
rhino
actually
and like
have
pull
that
the
guy's
shit off.
email
Of it.
address? Because just
But
for the record,
that's-
I have the
Oh, is
Whirlwind
it pink?
attachments.
Is it pink?
It's a red. It
Oh,
is
is it
a
just like a
semi-stripped red.
Okay, it's more like a salmon.
Just to describe the exhausts are cut off.
All of the
yeah.
old rhinos' exhausts are cut off. You gotta actually convert those yourself these days.
Oh man,
they never stayed on.
showing his age. All right, so we're going now. God, now I have to go back. 'Cause I'd show a picture of that terrible thing. Oh no, I canceled it out.
What happened?
Fun times.
Oh, that
Is that
means
the
I
end
win
of
then.
play-
All right, stand up for your nut punch, Ted.
Oh, what nut punch?
I was
so to the
promised.
backup window. Technical difficulty.
Yeah, so the old rhinos I actually bought because of my regular force.
Yeah.
Is all old timey looking models.
How many did you get?
6.
6 of the
Six
old
of the
schools.
original rhinos.
Oh, man.
Including 2 whirlwinds that I kept the metal parts off without building them. The old.
I might have some old school Razorback. One old school Razorback turret. You want it?
I have 3 old school Razorbacks turrets
Not
that
such
I'm
a
not
fan.
using
Oh, okay.
because I wasn't doing Razorbacks. I was doing rhinos, and again for most of them I actually had to convert up bigger pipes on there because they were broken off.
Oh.
So.
All right, we're back in business.
Oh, good.
I was getting bored of this conversation.
Yeah, I was like, this is dumb.
So we have
Let's talk about butt stuff.
Warmaster High Elf Lanceman Elves with command metal.
What? We're talking fantasy?
Very rare.
Epic fantasy.
Out of
Oh.
print times 24. Epic fantasy. Well, it came up under the search, so it's in there.
Epic fantasy.
Warmaster High Elf Lanceman Elves with command metal. Very rare. Out of print times 24.
25 of them? Oh, 24 of them? So that's 5 units, right?
Yes. No, that's 1.
What?
Because they're rank and file.
Let's be honest. Neither one of us know, so just pick it.
Well, I remember that they would usually, like, squads went in 5, right? And they had to...
No, I
No,
don't
you're
know.
thinking of Epic 40K.
Yeah.
In Warmaster, they were in a straight line. They're like a
rank and
Right.
file.
Wow. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I said epic fantasy.
Yeah, I was right.
I've got an epic fantasy right now. It's that you're going to choose a number so that I can bid higher than you.
Motherfucker.
You said very, very rare. Was it
Very rare.
Does it have the asterisk on either side of very
Nope,
rare?
and it
How
is-
is that typed out?
It is also
Well
not.
rare.
It's not also capitalized, so it's just regular. It's very rare.
Is well rare? Not well rare? Or
All right,
pro rare? There you go. Go for it.
Dave, you farted in.
I'm going to actually say, let's see, I'm going to say $25.
$25 for
26.
26. $1. $1 was the right answer. You can be as rare as you want to be, but if no one plays your damn game, no one's going to pay money.
Somebody
for it.
bought it for $1?
Yes, someone bought it for $1.
That's probably because they wanted to chop it up and use it as scenery pieces on like an epic building or something.
My gene sealers are a little top heavy. I need something to weight them down.
Just melt that down and pour it to the bottom. You'll be good.
You know?
You'll be good.
All right. So our
Only $1, I'll do that.
penultimate question: Warhammer 40K
He's winning by a landslide.
Orc Gorka Morka Rocket Buggy Vehicle Rare OOPNIB. I yelled it because it was all in caps. at the
Thank
end.
you. We're doing that. I went to adjust that level. Sorry, I couldn't.
I figured you were too busy. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Are we still playing a game now? What's happening?
Okay, so Gorka Morka Rocket Truck, out of package.
Nope.
No.
Oh,
Out of print.
OOP
Out
is
of print. Oh, okay.
In box.
Oh,
in
I always
box.
said out of
I'm
package.
so fucking excited for that.
Okay. So it's assembled.
Nope.
No, that's
Nope.
still
New
in
in
package.
box.
New in box.
Oh, nib.
Nib.
Fuck.
Not in butt.
This is also true.
$20.
$20.
Bzz, I'm actually going to say 35.
You use way too many words.
Ted, you were closest without going over,
Oh, I'm not touching you. I'm not
As-
touching you.
as it's sold for $34.99.
Oh, what? I don't know what those.
Yeah, but
eyes
if I'd
are.
said $34.99 and hit that right on the nose, you'd have been...
Screwed. Well, that was it. I enjoyed that. Thank
Did we
you for-
tie, or-
No, you
I-
lost by 1.
Yeah, I was going to say I won by 1 because we had neither of us got it in the middle, and you had to get them all to even tie.
Whoa,
Yeah,
ball sack.
yeah, and you guys really overbid on that Warmaster stuff.
Seriously.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, that was awful. But yeah, so let's go ahead and take one more quick break, and we'll be right back. We're going to talk about scouts.
Woo!
Now you're going to have to adjust that level.
Fuck.
I just Googled it, so I'm good.
Man, my old lady's so moody right now. I hate that time of the month.
Not me. I buy generic tampons. They clean up all that gross lady stuff, and she's happy because we've saved money.
Wow. Generic tampons. I'll have to give those a try.
Damn, I can't believe I lost another game. All of my dice are rolling once.
Quit the whining, man. You should change your cotton.
Another rending hit! Thanks, generic brand tampons.
Generic brand tampons. Not just for ladies. For a limited time, send in 6 applicator sticks for a free dice bag. Red button and the green button mean we're recording.
So, scouts.
Hi, Scouts.
Yeah.
This one
they
time
learned
at
to
Scout
tie
camp.
knots. I went to Scout camp all the time. True story.
Really?
Yeah, but he wasn't a scout.
I
And
was
they
a-
did eventually get a restraining order.
No, I was a Cub Scout, then a regular Scout. I didn't Eagle Scout because I found out about girls.
Did they have that in the UK?
You know what? I
It's
also
formed in the UK.
Was it really?
Yeah, it's from there.
I had
yeah,
no
but
idea.
Eagle's actually spelled with a U in the middle of it. There.
Oh, that joke's so bad, it's good.
I actually am an Eagle Scout.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
What was your project?
And I found out about girls. I painted a mural for the Spinard Rec Center, which is no longer the Spinard Rec Center, or maybe it is.
Where's the Spinard Rec Center?
Right.
I mean, in
exactly.
Spinard,
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's over by right behind the Spinard Builder Supply.
Oh, weird. Okay, I don't know.
But on a more grimdark view of things, child abuse, no. Space Marine Scouts, the little babbies
Yeah.
of the Space Marine chapters.
I don't see them on the table as much as I'd like to.
No.
That's because they're wearing camo cloaks, Ted.
Oh,
Also, you can't take them in battle companies. So,
that's true. No free rhinos with scouts.
yeah, no free rhinos with Scouts. Scout lives matter. But I mean, they're great, and this is kind of stemming off a little bit as well about our discussion about the Ultramarine movie, about how much happier I would have been personally if they started as Scouts and then we saw them progress through. The Scouts are
Some
essentially
cheap ass didn't buy the collector's edition. You would have been able to see it.
Yeah, I know. Well, cheap ass. It was like cheaper to buy the collector's edition. I only found about it after I bought stuff. But they're, typically your chapter's 10th company, your newbies, guys who are getting kind of the on-the-job training, the apprentices, if you will, about, the 40K universe. I fielded them on the table pretty regularly when I was playing Marines.
Same here.
This was before the
Never
seventh,
fielded Scouts.
before the new
So
codex. Again, when I tried,
back when they were weapon skill, ballistic skill 3.
yeah, but now
And 1 point more.
now I try hard and just only take it if it comes with a free transport. But I always found them good on the table. I always thought they were underestimated by people as well when you took them. And then also they have access to the Landspeeder Storm, which is like one of my favorite Marine vehicles just on looks. It's just like someone cut up a Landspeeder and threw some sheet metal in the center and like, it's a bus now.
It's like a redneck
It's
limo.
an orc. It's land. Yeah, the Scouts were like, hey, we're going to need to take this back with us. So get out. Everybody get in.
Well, because all mine's are Imperial Fist 2, the two I have that are painted, they're just like little school buses. little short buses full of Scouts.
I know. We don't have full armor.
So yeah,
Stop biting the cushions.
I'll be a Marine soon. I'm sorry, that's awful. I apologize. Ted, tell me about Scouts.
So I think as we were talking earlier, they showed up in 92 during Advanced Space Crusade. They had blouses later on.
They were pirate shirts. Okay. Very Harlequin-esque looking.
Pretty hideous. And I think they were led by a sergeant, right? I think a regular Space Marine sergeant. So you had full power armor.
Hold on.
Or is it just
he
like
was
it
the
looked
guy
that
that
way?
was this.
Oh, the
yes.
flat
That
pose?
was Dave is looking
Well,
like
he had one hand that was
both.
peg.
He was a
I think
linear line. He was a linear line.
I think he had a peg.
Nope.
I'm certain.
I'm going to bring you
really
the sergeant.
still have him.
Yes, I do.
Oh man,
He's literally standing there pointing up in like a V,
Yeah.
just a W with no helmet and a really bad crew cut.
yeah.
oh,
it's-
you're right. You're right.
It looks like the cover art where he just looks like he
looks
was
like Dolph
holding his
Lundgren.
gun and his chainsword, and then you got run over by a treadmill or a steamroller or something.
Get out of the way.
But yeah, it introduced a whole bunch of Scouts in that wonderful pose there.
Yeah.
I think it's weird that they were led by power armor though. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, I can see. I mean, it takes it from what.
Why is that?
Well, from what Scouts are now, is
Yeah.
there like this little almost advanced force that's recon and super fast and mobile and all that other kind of stuff, and it takes them back to their like Cub Scout style days where like they have their pack leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it makes sense to me. You're training him up. You've got a drill sergeant, somebody that knows what he's doing. He's already gone through basic, so
That
he's
kind of
got
makes
his
sense.
armor.
But I think
He
like
just
part
doesn't
of it.
know how to point his chainsword forward or his gun forward. So just let me turn sideways.
He's
So
just doing a really bad YMCA.
Part of it is that I think the sergeant in the current fluff, the sergeant generally has a chainsword, and maybe this kind of goes to that in a way. But like the sergeant has a chainsword more as like a oath, like a sign of office that he's closer to becoming a Space Marine, so he gets one better piece of Space Marine armor. And I think that sergeant, I think he had the shin plates of a power armor, and then he had like cloth leggings, didn't he? From what I remember. So and he had like the rest
the picture you literally just looked at.
Yeah,
that I already Googled away from.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he had like extra like cloth legging, and so he was on his way. He wasn't entirely power armored up. So he's almost like he was a tech barbarian. But I think like even the cloth though, they were saying how like the cloth is made of a what was it, like titanium carbon alloy, like threading material,
designed to reduce chafing in groinal regions during extended excursions.
It didn't work.
It excretes aloe lotion.
I've just Googled pictures of scouts. Here's some Landspeeder Storm buses.
Short buses. But no, so they came into the game there. I think it was very much more. This was back when everything was like 1980s metal. Kind of, back to that. There's always this great picture out there of two Ultramarines walking up to like a ganger graffitiing a wall.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone's the same height, and the Marines just look like they shouldn't literally be able to fit inside the armor unless they're squats. But like kind of that kind of goofy aesthetic stage that I super liked.
And I think, like, in a way, like, we were talking about Necromunda a while ago, and, like, how the Cawdor, like, almost looked like a, they look like Bretonnians in a way. Like, there was always, like, this hearkening back to fantasy. I think that was kind of, that's where 40K came from, and so maybe there was, like, these little nods, and so maybe those shirts kind of came from that, too. The Squire, because that was also part of the fluff, too, is, like, if you don't make... if you don't make make it as a scout, like you fuck up, or your augmentics don't take well, you get injured or whatever, you end up becoming like a manservant or a squire, or I mean, if you really fuck up, you become a servitor.
I was going to say now in the Grimdark they just become servitors.
Yeah, but I think they did talk about that in Beast Arises. I want to say with the what was it, the Black Templars. I think there was a guy who was like the head of the ship, but he had tried to become a scout, but he had failed, and so they ended up turning him into a I think he was like just like the head of the ship or some head manservant or something like that. So people don't always make it through. You don't always go from scout to Space Marine.
Yeah, normally you die.
Yeah, in Grimdark 7th edition, you Space Marine or death.
Yeah.
Well, I really want to see now just kind of like a bar on some frontier planet. And just, like this like Clint Eastwood style scout with like half upgrades.
Really grizzled, just
yeah.
sitting there.
And like someone goes in and robs the place. It's like, you've robbed the wrong bar, son. And it's just like this really...
Pulls down the old dusty sniper rifle off the rack behind him.
It's like no planet.
Astartes pattern.
No planet for old man.
But then not all scouts are built equally. So the vast majority of them, you have your Codex Astartes that says you start out in the 10th Company, right? And there's like I think up to 10 squads in the 10th Company generally, not always, but I think there's some deviation. So if you wanted a scout unit in your you're part of the 3rd Company or something like that, you wanted to get scouts, you go and contact the 10th Company, you get your library card, you go and borrow.
You check out your scouts.
They go do the dirty work.
Excuse me, sir, this armor had a body in it before.
Chunk. Just stamping due dates on scouts' behinds.
They pull out their little card. Oh, it looks like 3rd Company or 4th Company had you before us.
The whole company?
This card is a little moist. Nice purity seal.
Yo.
The 3rd Company broke his purity seal.
Myself for the Emperor.
I think there's only 2 chapters that I know of that have like a variation to this. So you have the Space Wolves.
Space Puppies have variations to everything. Yeah.
they hate the Codex Astartes.
Yeah.
So, and there's a difference. So,
and whose else is different?
Yeah, you said
the other
two.
one is the Black Templars.
Oh, yeah, because they all kind of intermingle.
Right.
And
so they don't have a 10th Company. They straight up don't have a 10th Company. Instead, also normally a scout will go through their testing. Normally, they'll just have like their testing program that goes on for months as they try to like learn their different augmentics. Then they go out and do scout work. But I think with the Black Templars,
help old ladies cross the road,
paint murals in the
Spinard
wreck house.
You guys want to buy some Scoutorama tickets?
And so they'll just
get my bolt.
Scoutorama. What the fuck is that?
We'll go into it after the show. It's you don't want to drag it back down to that.
So they just brought him into the squad, and they just kind of nurtured them along up until they were ready.
And then when they're ready, they get promoted out.
Yeah.
Let's get with Set Life. I think one of my, when I was coming back into Warhammer from my absence, so I came back in about 2013, 2014. One of my the first images I saw was an all-scout army in a tournament that just auto-won a game.
What?
I'm sorry.
Wow.
So back in the edition, you could start everything in reserve, and then
Okay.
it would come in. So there was a guy who was using a really shitty tactic of keeping all of the stuff off the table.
Call that min-maxing.
Right. So he started with nothing. So knowing this guy brought an entire army of Space Marine scouts. And he deploys them. Because nothing else is on the table, he infiltrates them. And he infiltrates a line all along the enemy's deployment zone.
Oh my god.
And because doing that, he couldn't ever come on from reserve. And he auto-lost. And it's just one guy, the scout player, leaning down at the table beside his scouts with his thumbs up, while the judge and the other player are furiously thumbing through a rulebook behind him.
That's amazing.
That is the power of scouts.
Now I want to field some scouts.
Yeah, that doesn't work anymore because you have to have something on the table. But yeah, it's fantastic. I don't have super much to go into for scouts.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
nothing to go into.
I mean, I think that I don't know. I mean,
That's
there's
about it.
there's
You
a
got
little,
different weapons.
yeah.
Can you take
tactics?
shotgun scouts anymore?
Yeah,
Nobody does. But I think with this now, I'm really curious about this because I think part of one thing that I used to do with I think we were talking a little bit about the Storm, and the awesome thing about the Storm was that it became like this because it's open topped and it's fast. You could deep strike with it. You could. Well, up until the FAQ pointed out that we were doing it wrong, we were able to jink with it and then still fire out with full ballistic skill.
happy days, happy days.
But that became an amazing weapons platform. You just drop that thing down. You have 10 guys in there. You rapid
Party
fire.
Bus was amazing.
20 shots of bolter love down into people, and it was amazeballs. So you just got to get in there and eradicate squads. But I'm hoping to kind of do the same thing with the shotguns now. I'm thinking big 10-man block of scouts rolling up.
Together old fantasy style, all base to base to base to base.
Yeah, exactly. I only have to paint the first row.
You paint the first row really well, and then it gets gradually worse as it goes back.
Keep the nice ones on the outside. You just run them up. You get your 20 shots. I guess it would be 18 plus a pistol, and then run in and assault. And I think you should be able to soften people up. This is a theory. I haven't worked it out. I haven't tried
Except
it
that
yet,
you got to hit with the shotguns, and you got to wound with the shotguns,
Yeah.
and then they got to fail their armor saves.
But so the ballistic skill's
skills
back up. It used to be it kept going back and forth. It started out with at ballistic skill 3, then it became ballistic skill 4, then it became ballistic skill 3. Now we're back up to ballistic skill 4. So their hitting isn't that bad, and I think it's strength 4. So
the
two
the
shots,
best
and
you
it's an
can-
assault weapon, so you can
The
shoot.
best you can do to shoot at somebody is a 3, right?
Right.
To hit in shooting.
With scouts, yeah.
No, I mean in regular. I mean,
No,
it
you
just-
can,
it
you
just
can
looks
hit on
like-
2s. You can actually hit on 2s and then reroll if your weapon skill is
7 or more,
6 or more,
or 6 or more. Yeah.
which Tau do all the time.
Oh,
All my fire warriors are now ballistic skill 8.
I don't know. I've never fought against Tau.
Yeah,
they
don't
don't
do it.
scare me, to be
No,
honest.
just-
I'm not afraid of anybody who plays Tau.
It's not so much the people as the it's like orc levels dice for shooting, and being able to shoot 75 different things at once.
So I'm curious to see that. I would love to see big bricks of that. Their save isn't amazing, but you can put camo cloaks if you really want to, and that's kind of fun. And I know when I play Iron Hands, I get a feel no pain on top of it, which doesn't make sense in the fluff, but it's awesome.
What is always great to me is I love the new models. It's an older plastic kit, sure. But when I got out of the game back in early 2000s, there was the metal scouts, the flat dudes that we were talking about before, and they were great and all. But these new scout packs are really super good. I hate the hats. I've always hated the hats.
They look like they've been Botoxed.
For all of my scouts, well,
Swelling
actually,
a bit.
apart from my sniper scouts I just made, where I couldn't be bothered finding the hats, I used Tempestus Ion hats. For all of the scouts.
Yes.
And it looks really, really good.
Okay.
But I didn't bother doing it with the snipers. I was like, oh, my bits box is somewhere. I've moved house since I last made scouts. So, yeah. In the last 3 years, I haven't built scouts.
You know, there is an award in the Gamer's Tale for who's voted best army, just so you know.
What does that have to... You're talking about
You're
you
talking
can do
about,
head
like-
swaps?
Yeah, head swaps.
That'll win you.
That's what drives me over the edge.
You just didn't care with the scouts. That's the thing. And on top of that, because of it, you won't hit anything with them.
So what's
true.
okay? So what's
Or
super
alternatively, they will be the best ever.
what's super ridiculous for me is thinking about this unit of sniper scouts that I made. Is that there's a group of up to 10 people with sniper rifles hiding in the same bush, shooting at the same target. Of just, like the idea for me for a sniper rifle is it's like a Vindicator assassin. It's a single guy up in a a mailroom building, say in Dallas, and also in another location at the same time. This one here, I just imagine the sergeant being like, okay, now we're all going to shoulder our rifles and we're going to look down our sights, and what do we see? That's right, an orc knob. So everyone, I kind of just because there's no good reason why there should be 5 sniper rifles firing.
Well, they are just learning. Maybe that's it. Maybe you're exactly right. It's the riflery squad from high school. Showing up.
But now that makes me apply that logic to everything the scouts do. So. Like when that Landspeeder storm is flying, you're like, okay, Kevin, now we're going to take a left up at this rock here.
It's got two sets of steering wheel. The steering colors. It's got that.
You're right, student driver on the back.
So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to buy another Landspeeder Storm. I'm going to have to sit a proper Marine in the gunner seat next to the driver
With a clipboard?
with a clipboard and put a little and this is for our UK listeners, put an L plate on the back of the car or the Landspeeder and have him going off there. And that's something I got to do now.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure I could easily fit a Marine in the front of that there's like 2 bits barn.
That'd be great.
Man. So, and then, after the battle, they all sit cross-legged around a fire listening to the sergeant being like, now what did we learn today?
That'd be great. We gotta do that afterwards. Have their little s'mores and their marshmallows and somebody with a ukulele.
It's like, according to Lost Patrol, the scouts became the s'mores.
Oh. Sergeant walking around his power armor, just pinning today's merit badges on each.
Sorry, merit purity seals.
This is for shooting
On their
an orc in the
ankles.
nads.
Oh, I almost had a full set. Damn it.
I just need 2 more before I get my shoulder pads.
But I've always been, I've getting more into the fiction side of it like I have been recently, and then kind of less into the, no, I kill you. I need to, I don't know really of any books written from a scout's point of view.
It's clear that they all die before they
Yeah.
That would be interesting. There's got to be something out there.
There's got to be something, but
They only have 8,000 books.
I've seen and please, at at Mob Rules John, that's my, on Twitter, let me know because I'm missing out on this. I need to read a book from a scout's perspective. I think it would be kind of really fascinating.
Interesting.
We've all read the bolter porn and the Marines and all this other stuff, but kind of just someone progressing through the ranks and kind of seeing things from that perspective. Is it really the, hey, and now we'll take a left at the next light, and kind of the sniper drill. Yeah. I'm really now super psyched about having 10 sniper scouts. I was going to do 2 different squads. Now it's just going to be 1, so that everyone is practicing on the same target.
What's the sniper rifle stats on that? What is that? Auto pen, instant death, or something like that.
Oh yeah, when you fire
blow
10
the
of them at
Titan?
once.
Yeah.
Auto pen, instant death.
It's a Titan knocker downer.
It's a strength D AP 1 weapon.
They all merge together to Vindicator Assassin.
They all merge together. Oh.
Scouts form Scoutron.
Yeah.
Johnny, you're the legs.
And I'll be the cock.
It's just like the Emperor. He planned it this way. You're all part of me.
Do you think there's a couple of legendary scouts that never really move up out of the scout armor and into the power armor?
Like Tilion?
Tilion for the Ultramarines.
Nanan or whatever who merged into Tyranid biomass.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, we officially ate him. Nice. Well, let's stop making
really,
that
I guess
model.
there's one then.
But I think it's great that there's these characters that are like, do they have the chance to go up? And again, this is my ignorance on the fluff on Scouts here. And they're like, Johnny, you're being promoted. I can't, sir. I got to teach these guys how to drive a Storm.
And that's exactly, I think, like Tillion's story. I think like he stays back and stays the Scout Sergeant for ever and ever.
It's kind of like that person
until he
who's
gets
like,
eaten, I guess.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that 40-year Walmart cashier. I mean, yeah, you could move up and stuff, but at the same time, you're quite comfortable where you're at. And
it's the babes. You stay the Walmart cashier for the babes or the tube
I worked
tops.
in Walmart once. The
Really?
pussy was everywhere. I was beating it off with a stick. No, I've never worked at Walmart. I don't know if that's true.
So do me a favor. Okay. Is when he said beating off with a stick, cut off the stick part and add it.
Done.
Oh.
And then also cut out the part of me explaining what to do in order to incriminate.
You're just gonna go.
I might
with,
leave that part.
I was beating it off. I can just save you right there. Pussy was everywhere. I was just beating it off.
So I remember like one part. I can't remember which book it was, but they were talking about. It wasn't talking about Scout's perspective, but I remember they were talking about a Scout, and they were describing one. And they were saying how his hair was starting to change color. I think he was like blonde, and his hair was starting to turn black or something. Like there was like a little black swirl, and they'd made mention about like how his the gene seed was taking root in there, and his so that's kind of
going through Scout puberty right
yes,
there.
exactly.
Like they're all showering after a mission. It was like your balls. The gene seed is taking root.
Your voice is deeper, and your balls are gone.
So now all I can imagine. So this is ruining Scouts for me because on top of it being like learner driver Scouts on a store, I now imagine all Scouts until the gene seed quote unquote takes hold. Sounding like prepubescent voice.
Maybe it really is the other way around.
That one, please, sir.
I think it should be the other way around because I mean, the Space Marines are eunuchs eventually, right? Like they're castrated of some sort, not physically but chemically,
mentally as well.
Yeah. So maybe it's the other way around. They just hi guys.
So the voice acting was really bad in the Ultraman movie. Then. Is that what you're saying? It should have been high pitched.
I'm Chapter Master. Slam it. Chapter Master not getting any.
Goes right along with the can't hit shit, right?
Can't hit shit. Above the carry can't hit shit. He's Plague Lord. Can't hit shit now.
Plague Lord can't shite.
Can't shite.
I think it's how it's pronounced. Well, we'll change it each time though, just in case.
But I guess that's Scouts.
Yeah, that's Scouts.
I mean, there's got to be a story about the Scouts. Have you looked? Have you checked out any?
Oh, I've done. I mean, and this might shock people who are listening right now. I've done literally no research into the matter. Like literally.
Oh.
No, well, not research wise, but do you own a bunch of the short story? Books.
No.
See,
I've only recently started going crazy and buying stuff.
You only recently started going crazy?
Yeah.
I'm buying a lot of Black
I
Ivory
would
novels.
believe the drunken eBay.
Yeah. What's more dangerous than a guy with his annual sales bonus and an eBay and a few beers? Nothing more dangerous out there.
I'm gonna take you
apart
out
from maybe your
someplace
friend who sends eBay links.
Oh.
2 a.m.
Thanks, Tata.
Yeah, thanks, Tata. That. Yeah, we'll come right on back. We'll wrap it up, and then we out.
Gynecomastia is a myth, and so is gout. Ever met somebody with gout? I thought so. Why do we know much about these? Because we are soy. It is our job to know about your body. What we do know is, soy is a complete protein that can replace animal protein. It is a great dietary fiber, and can reduce your LDL and triglycerides. We also know that if you develop man boobs, it is not our fault. It is your dad's. Soy milk. It's not as bad as they say.
Okay, so we're back. Just wrapping it up here real quick. I just wanted to shout out I just wanted to shout out to Peter over at NGC 40K.
Oh. Oh, shit.
Oh, man, he's bringing it on Twitter. Yeah. He's gone to Mob Rules John, with the hashtag Ready to Rumble, which I corrected from the properly spelled word to a number because that's cooler, yo.
Yeah.
Our mighty ladder match coming up at TBD, the worst possible time. And I just want people to know that I'm going to break Peter. I'm going to break his narrative gaming. He will bring an unfluffy army list to win. So that...
Is he really?
I don't make him. He's not going to have a choice.
Oh.
In the true battle between tryhardness and narrative.
Oh.
Ready to rumble. This isn't as exciting as I thought it would be music-wise. Let me just... Yeah, there we go. No, but it's been a lot of fun. We've posted pictures of our various trainings of getting ready. Me wearing my best sweatbands while painting a scout. Peter playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots by himself, which is not a good test of skill, Peter from NGC 40K.
Especially if you lose.
Yeah, well, I guess so. But yeah, it's been very fun. We've been trading barbs and exchanges on that there. So yeah, check out NGC 40K for narrative information. Less dick jokes, but narrative information.
Well, maybe, I don't know.
So when are you playing this game?
Oh, TBD.
Hey, Peter.
He lives over in the East Coast.
Let's do a cross recording when we LVO it.
Yeah,
I think it's important. We'll bring some Shure mics and some wires.
I'll pack up my wires in my box.
Yeah.
The only thing you have to watch out for, Peter, is that if you lean down across the table and then come back up looking at John, he will have the bird flying at you.
It's rude.
It's rude, and it was very fun. Yeah. Luckily, Phil's a great guy and took it the right way. So yeah, that's been it for 28 of Mob Rules, talking about Lost Patrol and Scouts.
Goodbye, Scouts.
Goodbye, Scouts. What do we have coming up? TBD. I want to thank everyone for downloading the mini-sode we did last week. I had a lot of fun talking about fluff and our personal fluff for armies right now. We'll probably keep that going for a little bit. Until we decide not to. It's just really nice, simple, easy things to do. We might, I think, go into the world we're on next time.
Oh, yeah.
We should have named that for you.
Yeah.
Are you going to do it?
Yeah.
It's already named right here in the paper.
Did you really?
Yeah, I named it already.
Oh, does that mean I have to read that?
Took them away from us.
Bloody hell.
Dave, thank you.
I like that brother random name.
I believe it's pronounced Rondon name.
Yeah, it's French.
Dave, thanks for joining us today to play some Lost Patrol, talk about Scouts, all that other kind of fun stuff.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's good to see you.
And yeah. Ted, thanks a lot for coming by again as well.
Showing up.
Yeah.
And John, thank you for the pitas.
Hey, yeah, always good pitas.
And the nice bedroom eyes.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Stare into every other week.
I didn't get any bedroom eyes.
No. Well, you're not sitting directly opposite me, so I can. we changed the setup a little bit today, otherwise we would. I've been John.
All right, and Ted.
And we will see you next time.
All right, bye.
Yeah.
This episode of Mob Rules has been brought to you by Mob Rules Media. Please join our Facebook group to be part of the conversation at facebook.com/MobRulesAK. You can also email us at themob@tophat-arts.com. Thanks for checking us out, and we will see you in 2 weeks.